Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. For those who's new, my name is Christian and this is my crazy plant life. In today's video, we are going to be potting up a few smaller string of hearts together to try and make one full potted plant to have here at the shop and try and recreate the one I have at home in my condo. For those of you guys who's been following my plant journey, you should be familiar with my iconic string of hearts that I often get the question, how do you get it to grow so full and thick and long and lush? And although I've shared in my previous videos on how to care for your string of hearts or how to grow a nice, thick and full one by cutting it, propagating it, and then planting it back with a mother plant, it does help to start off with a nice full potted plant already and a bit of length. Now, when I did first get mine about 3 years ago, you guys can see here that it was already in a 6-inch container. It was nice and full. It also had about 1.5 feet of length on the vines, and I did untangle this when I first got it because I really want to make sure it was tangled free as it continued to grow downwards and really create that nice, current and waterfall look. Now, obviously it wasn't as dense or as thick as it is today, and that pretty much has been done just through the years of caring for it and just making sure I was providing it the right environment in order for it to thrive. Originally, I wanted to bring the one I have at home here at the shop, but he's really happy in my condo and I really love that plant, so I wouldn't want to do anything to disrupt his happiness right now. And I figured, it might be a good idea to kind of just recreate a new one here for the shop, so that way the shop can have its own statement piece and its own string of hearts. So I began looking for a nice full potted one, and I don't know about you guys, but every string of hearts I see at the store, even from my suppliers, they aren't as full as the one I found 3 years ago. So you guys can see here that this is one of the 6-inch pots that I bought for the shop from one of my suppliers, and it is nowhere near as full as the one I found 3 years ago. There's a lot of space here at the top. In addition, the vines aren't as long. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple of these, we're gonna pot it together into another 6-inch container because we don't want to necessarily go too big. It'll be interesting to see what the roots look like and to see if this is a mature plant or not, because that will definitely help determine what kind of potting medium we want to use. So let me get my potting station ready here. I'm going to pull up the other camera so that way you guys can see what I'm doing and we'll get started. All right guys, so we have here a few string of hearts that we're going to use. So we're probably going to use maybe 2 of the 6-inch one and then 2 of the 3. Again, the goal here is to try and make a nice full potted one to start off with, so that way when it does grow and starts trailing, it'll look really beautiful. And it might actually be even better than the one I have at home. So maybe that's the goal we should shoot for. So first thing we want to do is I'm going to unpot the 6-inch one and try to see what the roots look like. It'll be interesting to see if it's mature or not. If it is mature, what often you'll find is actually a lot of tubers in the root system. String of hearts does have naturally shallow roots, so you do want to be careful on how you go about potting this up into a new pot. Again, this is similar method if you wanted to combine a whole bunch of little 3.5-inch that you saw at the shop, because you can find a nice full potted one. So I'm just removing the soil lightly, and you guys can already see that the roots aren't as thick and as mature as probably the one I have at home. I don't see any tubers so far. And again, I just want to gently shake off the old soil. So far, the roots are looking really good. Again, just very shallow. So I want to make sure that my potting medium is going to be nice and airy. So I'm mostly going to use cacti soil, a bit of regular potting mix, and then some perlite. My ratio is probably going to be like 50% perlite and then 50% potting soil. And that's a combination of the cacti as well as the regular or organic potting soil. So we unpotted one, and you guys can see right here. Look at that, the root system. And yeah, you guys can see that this isn't as full as I wish it was, especially in a 6-inch container. So we're gonna move him to the side, and then we're gonna remove the other one just to see what this one looks like. So let me go ahead and unpot him. There's a lot of soil for this small string of hearts. And that's another thing too, you gotta be careful. If you do end up buying one of these 6.5-inch ones and it's not as full and there's a lot more soil than there are roots, you just got to keep in mind on how you go about watering your string of hearts. Don't obviously overwater, because these guys do have a tendency to rot and die if you do overwater them. So this one looks pretty good as well. Again, I'm just going to shake off the old soil, and root system looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see right here. Again, it wasn't as full. Look how much soil there was in this pot for very shallow roots. Probably wouldn't recommend keeping it in this big of a pot. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove all these old soil out of the way. I'm gonna bring my new pot and then bring some fresh soil, and we're gonna start potting these guys together. Actually, let's take a look at this 3.5-inch. I'm curious to see what this one looks like, because we're definitely gonna need a few more of these. Okay. See, this is better in a 3-inch because you guys can see that the roots were somewhat like reaching the bottom, and that's always good. Again, you don't want to go too big if your root system isn't, oh, and this one even has a tuber. I don't know if you guys can see right there. So this is a really good one. Okay. Okay, so we are going to do the other one, and let's take a look at this one. Yeah, you guys can see beautiful roots. All right, guys, so let me clean up here and let's get our new pot and our new soil ready, and then we're gonna start potting these guys together. All right, guys, so we have here our 2 6-inch string of hearts, and then we have 2 of the 3.5 that you guys see here. So all of this combined together in this 6-inch pot should be enough to kind of make a nice full potted one to begin with. Now this is a little deep. You guys can see that the pot is a little deep. So again, the roots on a string of hearts is quite shallow. So what you want to do is make sure that you have a nice airy potting mix. You know, you can add a bit more perlite maybe in the bottom half of the soil, and then the top should be more of an even mix. But let's go ahead and put our layer of potting mix here and then begin planting the string of hearts. So again, the potting mix I'm going to use is pretty much like 50% perlite and then 50% potting soil, and the soil consists of regular potting mix as well as cacti soil. So I'm going to probably fill up the pot halfway with soil and then start planting these guys. So the key when it comes to planting these guys together is I want to make sure that the vines are facing out. That way it can trail over the pot and over the edge. Again, similar to the one I have at home. So I'm going to put this one on one end for now. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put some more soil because, like I said, the roots are quite shallow, so you want it to be sitting pretty high up as well. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to place one right there. Face that one for now. Okay, so I have it facing one way, and then we're going to use this one to face the other way. Okay, that looks good. Okay. So what I'm gonna do before we add the 3.5-inch one is I'm just gonna add a bit of soil over here. Now, if you happen to, cover some of the hearts, that's okay. They will grow through the soil, so no big deal if you end up covering some of them. It might actually be good, so that way it can continue to kind of produce and grow additional vines on some of those nodes that might be buried within the soil. Okay, so I'm gonna add this now to the corner, which is our 3-inch. Again, you wanna make sure that the vines are facing out. Okay. Let's go there. And then we are gonna do another one right here. So, I'm actually really curious if this is gonna grow to be better than the one I have at home. I think it will be. I'm determined to do it. Even though the one I have at home seems perfect because he is perfect, I'm gonna try and make this one, is there another word for more than perfect? Super perfect? I'm just kidding. Okay. So we have it there potted. So now what I'm gonna do is just, again, cover the roots that are exposed with additional soil. If you happen to cover some hearts or some nodes, not a big deal. So I'm now gonna try and kind of untangle the vines that are somewhat tangled to try to make sure that they grow nice and evenly as it begins to trail down. And then that way we can see where the gaps are or where there's certain bald spots. And maybe what we'll need to do is take one of the vines and kind of wrap it around that bald spot area, because that will also help promote like a nice full potted plant with those nodes touching the soil. There's a bit of roots exposed here. So again, I want to cover it with some more potting medium. Okay. Ta-da! There you guys have it. Look how full this one looks. Very similar to the one I bought 3 years ago. And man, I'm excited to see how this thing grows nicely here at the shop. I'm gonna give it a nice drink right now because the soil that the string of hearts came in was somewhat dry already. And I wanna make sure that the roots settle in nicely with this new potting medium. And then we're gonna attach the hanging basket. And then I'm gonna attach a hook in the ceiling near that west-facing window. That's where this guy's gonna hang out. And hopefully we can start seeing him trail down. When it comes to caring for the string of hearts, really the key for me is giving it as much of that indirect bright light as possible. The one I have at home is a south-facing window, and here at the shop is a west-facing window. So west is still very good lighting. It gets a lot of light during the afternoon and evening, so I'm confident that he will do just fine in a west-facing window. And again, you want to make sure that you allow the soil to dry out completely. If you have more of a mature string of hearts with thicker leaves and bigger hearts, if you have a baby one, allow the soil to maybe dry between like maybe 80% or 90% before you do decide to water it again. And if you're looking to grow a nice full potted string of hearts and you don't have the patience to start off with like a small one by cutting, propagating, and planting it back with the mother plant, and if you can't seem to find, you know, a nice full potted 6-inch one like this, then just get a whole bunch and then pot them together similar to what I did. And over time, you'll have an iconic string of hearts similar to the one I have in my condo. So there you guys have it. Comment below and let me know if you think this string of hearts is gonna be more iconic than the one I have at home. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Until then, we'll see you soon. Peace.